You're watching a classic episode of Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World Television.
While Lake Erie may be famous for smallmouth bass the size of hubcaps, the protected nooks and crannies around river mouths and bays are home to their favorite cousins, the largemouth bass. And when things get rough offshore, the relative calm inshore can save the day.
Come here, baby. Picked up my jig and he bit it.
Stacey King and good pal Greg Mangus are taking a weather day to try their hand at fishing the largemouth haunts around the south shore of Lake Erie.
The darn wind's blowing so hard we can't even get out there, so Greg's brought me into this big old pretty bay, and we've been fishing jigs and tubes and crawdads, and we're catching a lot of nice largemouth, just having a ball.
A fall cold front will definitely affect their techniques, but there's sure to be enough active bass to occupy their day, and hopefully things will pick up as the afternoon wears on. Mostly the pair will concentrate on the abundant grass flats common to this area.
Where you find where the grass quits growing, right on that edge, on that transition, you really can catch a lot of fish.
One thing's for sure, the bass around here have plenty to choose from when it comes to the lunch menu.
Oh, he's so fat. Look how fat that little outfit is. What all do they eat in here, Greg?
Crawdads, a lot of crawdads. There's shad in here. There's emerald shiners, of course, gobies. Perch. They have a lot of forage. Bluegills.
One reason they like this jig is because they munch on those crawdads year-round. And it looks like a crawdad.
With all the variety the fish have for forage, Stacey and Greg both get to try their favorite baits.
We got one right in that clump.
I knew that.
Good one. We were just looking at this big clump of grass. There, he's going to get you in it. He's going to get you in it.
I'll tell you what, Stacey.
Oh, I got one too. Oh, mine feels like a good one, boys. I mean, they're in that stuff. Come here, baby. I mean, we've hit a little pod of them here now. Come here. Yes.
Let me see something.
Look at here. Yours is not bigger, mine's bigger.
Oh, look at this. Mine's 5 inches longer than yours.
That was fun. I'm throwing a real neat little deal here. I'm using that Charlie Burr slider head with a 5-inch sticko on it, Bass Pro sticko. And that little slider head is such a neat little finesse way to fish a worm or a sticko or sinkhole type bait through the grass because it's pointed nose. And they come out last year with this heavier hook right here, instead of the little light wire ones that we used to have all the time. And this thing, you can really hook them, fish it on 10, 12, 14-pound test line, and hook those bass real good, and it really works good for me.
This is a little crawdaddy bait that I use. It's hand-poured plastics, and it seems like when the weeds start dying, when it gets cold like this, the little crawdads really start coming out of the weeds, and the bass really get on these things good. And the thing, it looks like a small bait, but this time of year it catches giants.
Stacey and Greg's gear also includes Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series bait casting and spinning rods, Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series bait casting and spinning reels, Bass Pro Shops laser eye jigs, and Bass Pro Shops 5-inch Tournament Series stickos on Charlie Brewer's wide gap slider heads.
Come here, baby. Hit my jig.
That a better one?
Feels like a good one. He really nailed that jig.
That is a good one.
Stacey King is on Lake Erie with his pal Greg Mangus. The grass flats are holding lots of feed and lots of feeders, but the anglers still have to find the right combination of presentation and location to hook up.
That's a pretty bass now. How about that? I tell you what, I love catching them on a jig. I'm using that Bass Pro laser eye jig that I designed for Bass Pro Shop. It's got a Gamakatsu hook in it, and boy, I mean, I can whack them. Got a pointed nose. I can really fish it good in that grass. That's that little poor boy's chunk in a watermelon with gold flake. It's a watermelon jig, and boy, they like it. How about that for a pretty bass? Put you back in the water, you pretty thing. Yes, I love it.
In a major cold front like what we've had, a lot of times what the fish do is they just swim off the flats and suspend, and you can tell that there's fish through the whole water column from top to bottom. That's a good indication that the fish are really turned off. if they're really active, you're going to see very few fish on the screen. They'll either be right near the bottom or they'll be in a very specific area. For example, if the weeds quit at about 9 to 10 feet, quit growing, then that's where you'll see fish suspending that are going to be more active.
May want to do some pitching right up in that stuff.
Your sticko might be real good, Stacey.
Could be.
Now, there's a good one.
Got one? You got me
Nice.
sitting down here in the boat, and you throw out there and catch one.
Well, another one of those that tricks you, you know. That's a Erie, Pennsylvania squaremouth.
With lots of grass down deep, Stacey and Greg both have developed techniques for sending their baits to the bottom as fast as an iron anchor.
You know, when I fish a jig around grass like this, I like to use a bait casting rod, about a 6-foot 6-inch rod, fluorocarbon line. I use a medium heavy to heavy action rod and a fast reel. And Greg likes spinning tackle. How come, Greg?
I like spinning because I like a vertical drop. And one thing that I have trouble with the bait caster is getting a real fast vertical drop. And with a spinning rod especially, I do a lot of pitching in the grass, and the grass might be 18 feet deep. And I can just pitch the jig over the side of the boat and just give it some slack line like that, and it's going to drop through that grass
You
like
find
a
a lot
bullet.
of them will hit it on that initial fall?
Yeah, I think the speed of the drop triggers them. And you know, a lot of times when you're fishing grass, if you cast, as you know, it's not going to get to the bottom.
Yeah, it swings back at you if you've got your line tight. But if you can, the way I accomplish what he's saying is just by initially just pointing my rod down at the water like this, and then peel line off fast, so it's just falling on free slack line, and it'll go straight down, basically like what he's saying. I've just got comfortable doing it that way, but it just goes to show you can use a spinning tackle too.
Just a few yards away, development has taken over, but many of these grass flats remain untapped, and things are beginning to heat up fast.
Got him. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Come here, baby. I knew he was going to be there, right there on the outside edge of that grass. Yes, sir. Look at that fat chunk. That's what we're looking for right there. I love to catch him on a jig now. Look at that beautiful bass. Release her back. Oh, I love you, bass.
As Greg points out, more fish are heading to the bottom. Greg believes these guys are going into feed mode.
But there's still fish on the screen, but there's not fish from top to bottom. There's just a few scattered fish, but more of them are down near the bottom. And I assume, as you can see, there's some more coming in on the bottom. Those tend to be active fish, and I assume that a lot of times when you quit seeing them all scattered top and bottom, they've started to bite, and they've just moved horizontally into where they're going to feed, and we definitely are getting bit a lot better now.
Picked up my little old sticko on that Charlie Blue slider head, tossed it on that weed line, and that dude grabbed it.
With all the action, it's beginning to look more like a pre-spawn frenzy than a post-cold front dry spell.
I love that sticko, man. You talk about a good fish catching bait. That sucker will catch them. Pretty fish. I'll release her back. All right. Boy, I tell you what a great day of largemouth bass fishing. You know, Greg, we came up here with great aspirations of getting out on the lake and catching smallmouth, and I thought we might be sunk when we saw those waves out there, but no, he showed me how to come in here and catch these largemouths on the grass line. We've caught a few small. It's been a great day, buddy.
It's been awesome, Stacey.
It sure has. It's been a lot of fun. I hope we can come back and do it again sometime.
The next time you find yourself weathered out of the big waters you hope to fish, try some of Stacey and Greg's grass flat techniques. You just might find the inshore adventure beats the offshore adventure anyway.